So taking your upright posture that allows you to have your heart over your hips and your brain over your heart. Soften your arms down towards the earth. Make your feet active. Lightly lengthen your tailbone down toward earth. I like it when it feels as if I'm growing roots. And I could just imagine the way that roots spread into the ground and that moves down across my sacrum and tailbone. And of course, the low belly turns on when I do that. Go ahead and lift your ribs up off of your hips. That's the telescoping of the ribs. And breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. So first you attune to your usual breath, and then begin to breathe with diaphragmatic breathing. Breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. If you'd like, you could turn on Ujjayi breath and use that sound of the Ujjayi breath and the partial closing of the vocal diaphragm to create back pressure and a smooth, smooth, smooth long inhale and a smooth, smooth, smooth exhale. And if you're not familiar with Ujjayi breath, there's a video in the Members Hub where you can get a detailed step-by-step of how to breathe in this way. So for our theme today, moving breath in a way that not only spreads your ribs, but also gets down into the base of your torso, low back, belly, pelvic floor. Right? So next few rounds of breath, feel for that. We're spreading ribs. And after the rib spread, you can imagine breath extending down into the low belly, the low back, the pelvic floor. So as we make our way in and out of the different postures, use your breath as an anchor. If you catch yourself like, oh, drifting away with your attention, remember breath, remember that big breath, and use it to bring your attention back into body. And go ahead and start to blink your eyes open. If you're seated on something, come off of that and come to seated on your sit bones. Reach your right leg out to the side, have your left foot in towards your groin and your knees wide apart. Seated side bend, 2 different arm positions. The first one is a neck release pose. So start out by telescoping your ribs and bring your right hand straight out from your right hip on your fingertips. Let your air out. Again, inhale, telescope. And exhale over into the side bend so that the elbow can bend, this right hand can move, allow your right ear to come towards right shoulder, and then reach your left hand out and down towards the floor. Stretch your fingers out wide and breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. On exhale, pull your belly back towards your spine and firm up in low belly. Grow your roots down a little bit. Inhale, stretch the ribs and be the witness as breath moves all the way into belly and low back. In the next few rounds of breath here, Wash your breath in through your nose, over your brain, and down through the left arm, the left hand, wrist, and fingers. Second arm position, use your next inhale to reach your left arm up, wrap the left shoulder blade toward the armpit and lengthen all the way from deep in the left hip up through your left fingertips. Neck is still relaxed. Breathe in a way that helps you feel into your side body. On exhale, pull your belly back and stabilize in low belly and core. And so one more big inhale. And then on exhale, reach your left hand back down towards the floor and over your left hip. Reach through that arm to bring your torso up. And use your right hand to pick up your head. Switch sides. Knees are wide apart as you're here. And get tall. Bring your left fingertips right out from your hip. Inhale and exhale over into the side bend. Allow your left ear to come towards left shoulder. Draw your left shoulder blade down away from your ear. And then reach your right hand out from your hip and down towards the floor. Breathe in a way that helps you begin to investigate what's going on the right side of your neck. On exhale, ground your tailbone toward earth. Inhale, breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. Exhale, pull your belly back. A couple more breaths here. Using the posture to check in with body. Using the slow breath to settle your nervous system. And then for the second arm position, wait for your next inhale. And then go ahead, use it to bring your arm up. And exhale, wrap the right shoulder blade toward the armpit, straighten out through the elbow, open up through the palm. Breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. Okay, so to come out of this, inhale, reaching the arm up, exhale, bring the arm down towards your hip, use it to pull your torso up, and use left hand to pick up your head. Let's come into Badakanasana for Badakanasana hip traction. Plus there's a little twist in this. So we're in Badakanasana. Take your left hand behind your left hip, bring your right hand onto right thigh, and press down through both hands into the ground. That helps us telescope a bit, and then press through the right hand to traction the right hip joint. And you're getting a hold with the heel of the right hand through flesh, right? You press the flesh towards the bone, and then press the hand towards the knee, and there's a little grip there for me to pull the hip. So at that point, telescope the ribs and exhale, rotate the rib cage to the left, hang your head, and breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. Exhale, pull your belly back. With your inhale, stretch your ribs and stretch your breath into your low back and low belly. Go ahead and release that traction. Bring your right hand behind your right hip, left hand onto left thigh, press down into the bone, and then move the hand just a little bit towards the knee. So we create that ledge of flesh that helps us get a grip and pull the hip, making a little bit of space in the hip joint. Inhale, telescope the ribs. Exhale, rotate the rib cage to the right. Allow your head hang. And breathe in a way that not only stretches your ribs, but also gets your breath into the base of your torso. And go ahead, release that traction. Come into cross-legged, rock forward over your shins, come to knees and forearms for dolphin. Start with your elbows under your shoulders, wrap your fingers around your upper arms, bring your forearms out to parallel with one another, or if shoulders need more stability, go ahead and interlace your fingers. Great way to do the pose. And curl your toes under, hang your head down. Take an inhale, stretch your ribs. Pull your belly up and in. Curl your toes under, lift your hips, and exhale. Maybe step the toes forward a little bit. Keep your knees bent. Lift your sit bones high. And in this posture, it's okay to, well, for some of us, our heels are still a long ways from the ground, even if we do our best to press them down. But I want to invite you to not worry about pressing your heels to the ground at first, and not worry about straightening your legs at first. Keep the knees bent and heels lifted, toes lifted, and lift your sit bones higher. I notice when I do that, I press down, my heels even come a little bit off higher from the ground. And shoulders are engaged. Press the floor away with your forearms. Lift your sit bones high. Breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. So first, this is a shoulder chest opener. It's a pose to help you relax your neck while your shoulders are working. It is a mini inversion. And then after all of those things, in my mind, that's when, it might end up being heels toward the ground and knees straightening. But if you do that and it collapses in the shoulders, back it up, bend the knees again, lift the heels. And go ahead and bring your knees down. Sit back for a couple of breaths in child's pose or embryo. So the difference is child's pose, your hands reach out in front. Embryo,
Your arms are back by your sides and they're relaxing down. And I want you to tune into which one feels better to you. Which one's a better complement to the pose we just did? Go ahead and bring your hands under your shoulders, press your torso up, and cross one ankle over the other. Come to lying on your back with your knees bent for elbow to knee. We'll do the first couple rounds with feet on the ground, or I'm going to demonstrate and talk through the posture that way. If you want to pick your feet up right away, you can. So fingers interlace and bring them behind the back of the skull. Reach your elbows up towards the sky. Feet are active. Take an inhale. Hold your breath. Press your back into the ground. Curl tailbone towards your knees. And on exhale, pick up your left foot. Keep your knee over your hip. Reach your elbows up towards the knee, but also towards the sky. Inhale, head comes down a little bit and foot comes to the ground. Hold the breath. Press your back into the ground, curl tailbone up, and exhale, pick up the right knee. It stays over the hip. Reach your elbows toward the sky. Draw belly down. Inhale, foot comes down, and head and shoulders come down a little bit, but not all the way. Hold the breath. Press your back into the earth. Curl tailbone up, and exhale, pick up the left foot. Knee is over the hip. Reach elbows skyward. Inhale, head and shoulders come down a bit. The foot comes to the earth. Hold the breath at the top of inhale. Press your back into the ground. Curl tailbone up and exhale. Pick right foot up, knee over the hip. Reach elbows skyward. Draw belly down. Inhale, lower the head and shoulders down a bit. And if you'd like, go ahead and pick the feet up. So now knees are over top of the hips. Hold the breath, press your back into the ground, and exhale, reach right leg out. Reach your elbows toward the left knee, elbows high. Inhale, come to center, head and shoulders stays lifted, knees over hips. Hold the breath, press your back into the ground. Curl tailbone up, exhale, elbows toward right knee and towards the ceiling. Inhale to center, knees over hips. Hold the breath, curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows toward left knee. Right leg is about 45 degrees off the ground. Inhale to center. Hold the breath. Press your back into the ground. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, elbows toward right knee. Reach through the left leg. Inhale to center. Exhale, lay the head down. Bring the feet down. Let's have a bridge pose. Reach your hands down so they touch near the back of your heels. And open your palms up towards the sky. Make your feet active. Breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. And on exhale, curl tailbone up until you begin to roll your pelvis off the ground. Press through your feet. Use your back body muscles to lift your hips. Inhale, get your breath into your torso. Exhale, lengthen your tailbone towards your knees. Inhale, stretch your ribs. Exhale, curl tailbone under towards your knees. Inhale, stretch your belly. One more full inhale. And then on exhale, go ahead and start to roll your spine down, curl, tailbone under, so you get into the low back. Pelvis comes to earth. Roll yourself over to one side. Leave your neck relaxed and press up with a relaxed neck. So we like to, right? We like to work on standing without using hands. So I'm in the perfect position of a side bend sit. Can stand up onto shins, bring the foot around so I could get weight over the front leg, step forward, and step to stand. Let's have some sun salutations, A series. So up near the top of your mat, exhale, hands to the center of your chest. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, come into forward fold. Step your left foot back, bring your knee down. Inhale, up into lunge. Pause your breath. Bring your hands to earth. Curl your back toes under. Lift your hips. Exhale, plank. Inhale, lower your knees. Exhale, lower your body down. Bring your elbows under your shoulders. Inhale, low cobra. And hands under your shoulders. Keep your shoulders lifted away from the ground. Curl toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left foot up near your hands. Right knee comes down. Inhale into lunge. Pause your breath at the top of inhale. Fingertips to earth. Curl your back toes under. Lift your hips. Exhale, forward fold. Active feet. Inhale, rise up, ribs spread out to the sides. And exhale, pull your belly back towards your spine. Lengthen tailbone down. Inhale, reach your arms, breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. And exhale, forward fold. Right foot steps back. Inhale, come up into lunge. Pause your breath, hands to earth, curl back toes under, lift hips, exhale, plank. Inhale, lower your knees. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, low cobra. Hands under your shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot up near your hands. Left knee comes down. Inhale, lunge. And hands to earth. Curl your toes under. Lift hips. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, hands to the center of your chest. Place your thumbs on your breastbone. Feel the beating of your heart. And breathe in a way that settles your heart down. Go ahead and bring your hands down. So we'll go into some sun salutation B series, a round of that, and have some blocks handy if you don't already have them up near the top of your mat so that they can be within reach. And standing up at the top of your mat, inhale, breathe in a way that stretches your ribs and you get air into low belly and low back. Exhale, hands to the center of your chest. Inhale, come into chair pose. And exhale into forward fold. Bring your hands to your shins. Straighten out your arms, your legs, your spine. Inhale. And exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands under your shoulders to the mat. Step one foot back, then the other. Take plank. Now you can keep lowering down from knees on the ground plank, or you can lower down from toes on the ground plank, and then inhale up into boat pose. Use your glutes and hamstrings to lift your legs off of the ground. Reach through your active feet. Straighten your knees. And breathe into rib cage, low belly, low back. Lower your legs. Keep your shoulders lifted. Bring your hands under them. Curl your toes under. Use an exhale to press back to downward facing dog. And hang out in down dog for a few rounds of breath. Wrap your shoulders in down dog. Allow your head to hang and get your breath up into low back. Step your left foot up near your hands and set yourself up for warrior two. So that's front heel lines up with back arch, front knee is bent, and then press through your front leg to rise up. Open your chest to the left, which just created, like, that's a big rotation in the hip. Feet are active. Inhale, reach your arms out to the sides. Bend your front knee a little bit more. Breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. Eagle arms. So if it's not already, line up your chin with the center of your chest. Take an inhale. And on exhale, cross right over left. And inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward into a forward fold. If balance is tricky, just touch your fingertips to the ground. Knee stays bent. Get your breath into back body. And then unwind the arms, bring your hands under your shoulders. Move your right hand over towards your right foot. So it's about maybe 10 inches away from your right foot. Straighten out your arms and bring your left hand onto left thigh. Here's the traction move like we did at the beginning. Press towards the bone and then towards the knee. Keep your right knee bent. And then as you press the hand towards the knee, go ahead and move your right rib cage towards your right thigh. Let your head hang. Notice what you feel and breathe into it. All right, go ahead, release the traction, hands to the ground, walk them around. So you have two hands on either side of the front foot. Curl your back toes under and lower your right knee to the ground. If you need extra padding, put a blanket there, or you could flip the mat over on the, so it's a double mat under your knee. Come up with your torso and have both of your knees at a right angle for easy twisting lunge. Before we go into the easy twisting lunge, tilt your pelvis, draw your pubic bone towards your belly button and lengthen your tailbone down. Grow your roots toward earth. Bring left hand to the hip. Inhale, reach right arm up. And on exhale, twist. You can bring the
the right forearm to the outside of left thigh, or you can bend over and bring the elbow to the outside of the knee. Either one is great. If you have the forearm on the knee, you keep the torso up and your left hand on your sacrum. If you have the elbow on the knee, make a fist, point the fist toward the sky, and bring your left hand on top, left palm on top of the fist. Relax your neck. And if you're in the elbow variation, press your hands together and pull your heart up towards your two hands. Whichever variation you're in, breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. And go beyond stretching your ribs to get breath down into low back and low belly. All right, come out of that. Bring your hands to the mat under your shoulders. Shift so that some of your weight is on your hands. Curl your back toes under. Lift the back knee and step back to downward facing dog. Wrap your shoulders. Reach your sit bones towards the sky and breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. Okay, stepping right foot up near your hands. Set up for warrior two. And front knee is bent. Rise up, then open your rib cage to the left. Reach your arms out to the sides. Breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. And for eagle arms, take an inhale. And on exhale, cross left over right. Reach your fingers toward the sky. And exhale, forward fold. So warrior two with eagle arms with a forward bend. And your torso, you're not way over by the right thigh. You're more hanging out in the middle. Allow your head to hang and breathe up into your low back. Unwind the eagle arms. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Straighten them. And bring your left hand closer to your left foot. They're about a foot apart. And then lean over on that left hand. Bring your right hand to your right thigh. Traction the hip. Press toward the bone. Press toward the knee. Inhale, telescope. Exhale, move your left rib cage towards your left thigh. Come out of that. Bring your hands to the earth, walk them over to either side of your front foot, curl the back toes under and lower the back knee. For easy twisting lunge, first thing we do is bring the torso up and have both knees at a right angle. Stabilize your low back and low belly by lengthening tailbone toward the earth. Draw your belly button up and inhale, reach left arm up. And exhale, come into your variation of the twist. So if it's forearm on the outside of the knee, then you have opposite hand on the low back. If it's elbow on the outside of the knee, make a fist, point it towards the sky, and right hand comes on top of the fist. Relax your neck. Breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. And exhale, pull your belly up and in.
Go ahead and unwind from there. Bring your hands under your shoulders. This time we'll step back to plank. So curl your back toes under, lift your hips, create your plank posture. And you can lower your knees or lower down from plank to the earth. Inhale up into boat pose, lifting your legs with back body muscles. Straighten your knees. And breathe into low back and low belly. Lower your feet. Keep your shoulders lifted. Bring your hands under them. Curl your toes under. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Come up onto your tiptoes. Start to tiptoe your way up towards your hands into a standing forward bend. Bring your hands to your shins. Straighten out your arms, straighten your spine, draw your shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees. Inhale up into chair pose. And exhale to stand. Place your thumbs on your breastbone. Feel the beating of your heart. And breathe down into the base of your torso. All right, go ahead and bring your hands down. So Urianabanda is a breathing exercise. We will practice it in chair pose. And this exercise helps to really stretch and pull all the muscles along the rib cage and diaphragm. It helps us find side body muscles. It kind of churns and stimulates the internal organs. So many reasons this is a valuable exercise, but it fits in with what we've been doing today because we've been doing some side body, some twisting. So use your Uddiyana Bandha to keep feeling in there. So here's where we start is, well, where we'll start is in a chair pose with, once you come into it, you'll have traction, another form of traction, pressing toward the bone and towards the knee to straighten out the arms and pull the chest forward. So from standing, I have my feet wider than hip distance apart. You got to fuss around a little bit and find what really works for you. You could start out with knees bent a bit, bring your hands onto your legs, take an inhale. Strong exhale through the mouth, breathe all your air out. Bottom of exhale, hold the breath, pull your belly back towards your spine and up into your ribs. And then you inhale and rest between sides. And I want to say, if you're familiar with this exercise, I'm going to talk a little bit more before we do the few rounds, the next couple rounds. But if you're already familiar with it, just do a few more and really get into it, investigate in there. So one of the couple tips, if you get tickly in your throat, keep your chin towards your chest. And I like to move my rib cage a little bit and even play around with my pelvis. And you're searching for your own tight spots and you're searching for ways to get into your body. All right, so hands are ready. Once you come into it, like my elbows are bent, but once you come into it, your arms straighten and your shoulders go up by your ears. Regular inhale. Strong exhale through the mouth. Bottom of the exhale, hold the breath. Pull your belly back, up into the ribs. Belly softens. Pause between sides. Okay, one more round. We'll bend in the knees. Strong exhale through the mouth. Pull the belly back up into the ribs. Straighten the arms. Pull your ribs forward so you get that hollowing out. And straighten the legs. Feel into belly. We'll go back to the floor. Twisting in either Badakanasana or shoelace pose. We're going to twist and forward bend in both of these hip openers. So I want to talk to you about shoelace first. And I want to preface that shoelace is not for everyone at this time. Your hips may change over time and it may be your pose in the future or maybe not. So shoelace, if you start out with one, like I have my mat right here, and I'm going to have my shin kind of parallel to the front of the mat, and then draw the other leg in towards my body and carefully pick up the foot while I allow the knee to open up. And I'm leaning back for all of this, then placing the heel or the ankle, the outside of the ankle, onto the knee, and the shins stacked on top of each other. Both feet flex back. So this is shoelace. And it's a really interesting hip rotation with a different knee rotation. There's a lot going on there. And come out of, if you came into that with me, come out of whatever side you're in and go ahead and take a Badakanasana. So Badakanasana is a rotation on the hips, on the femur bone. It externally rotates, but there's not as much complexity of hip to knee. So if shoelace was like too weird, body's not doing it yet, use Badakanasana. If you want to work with shoelace, start with your right shin on the bottom. Draw your left knee in towards your chest. Take your right hand, scoop it under the foot, and help your hip to do that rotation with support. Stacking ankle over knee, knee over ankle, flex the feet back. Bring your hands, no matter what hip position you're in, bring your fists by your hips. Press down toward the ground. Breathe your awareness and your literal breath all the way down to the base of your torso. And on exhale, press through your hands and start to hinge at the hips. So the pelvis, tilt your pubic bone towards the ground, move your sit bones behind you. Oops, I just realized it felt better for my wrist now to switch to fingertips instead of fists. So the spine's still pretty straight, and we want to get the movement in the pelvis. And
If the pelvis stops moving when your torso is only moved like maybe 5 degrees forward, that's great. Just pause there. Feel for anchoring your pubic bone toward the ground, pressing through the hands to lift your torso. And breathe in a way that gives your body a chance to get used to this idea. So maybe it's pretty intense in the hip. Breathe in a way that sweet talks your hip. And then after a few rounds of breath with the straight spine, you can bring the hands in front of the shin. Inhale, lengthen, telescope the ribs, and exhale. Go ahead and round the spine now. Round down towards gravity, over your legs. Breathe into your low back. Breathe into your hips. Breathe into your pelvic floor. Relax your jaw. Okay, go ahead. Walk your hands up. And to twist from here, whatever, I did a few things, so I got confused on what leg I asked you to be on. But whatever leg is on top, if you're in shoelace, that's the direction you are going to twist, is towards that foot. And if you're in Badakanasana, I'm going to choose a way, but just know if you're in shoelace, you might be choosing opposite of what I'm saying. Okay, so feet are active. Inhale, lengthen up. And if you're in shoelace, reach your right hand down and grab onto the outside of the right foot. And that is because my right leg is on top. Okay, if you're in Badakanasana, reach your right hand down and grab onto the left ankle. Bring your opposite hand behind you up on fingertips. Use your hands to telescope the ribs. Exhale, lengthen your tailbone toward the earth and rotate your ribs around. And just work with this twist here. Now I want to add another option. You don't have to go here. You could take instead of the right hand grabbing the foot, you could take the right elbow right into the right arch of the foot. Make a fist with the right hand, bring left hand on top. And then inhale, telescope the ribs. Exhale, draw your shoulders away from your ears. And breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. All right, unwind from that. If you're in shoelace, unwind your legs. Madakanasana, you'll stay in the same thing. And I, got all confused about what side we were on. You're going to make sure you do the other leg if you were in shoelace. And remember to always come in. It's kind of like, I'm going to snuggle up to my leg and help it over. Allow the knee and the hip to open up. If you're Badakanasana, it's the same position. Okay, then fingertips or fists by our hips. Press down to telescope. Exhale, hinging at the hips, hinging at the pelvis. So pubic, we're going forward bend first, not twisting. So pubic, Fists are by your hips. Press and hinge at the hips. Hang your head. And use your hands to help you bring yourself forward with a fairly straight spine. We're getting the bend at the pelvis. All right, and then after a few breaths there, go ahead and bring your hands out in front, round your spine, and use your breath to soften towards the earth. Okay, let's come up out of that. And then we're twisting. And we're twisting in the direction, if you're in shoelace, of whichever foot is on top. And if you are in Badakanasana, you are doing the opposite side of what you did last time. So telescope the ribs and exhale, revolve the rib cage. If you're in shoelace, reach down and grab the outside of the foot with the opposite hand. Either option, the other hand comes behind you to help you get tall. And then if you want a different variation, you can bring the elbow to the arch, make a fist, and the other hand comes on top. And breathe in a way that stretches your ribs. Use your breath and your attitude to convince the muscles that all is well. They don't have to protect right now. All right, let's come out of that. Shoelace people, unwind your legs. Everybody stretch out your legs, lean back on your hands, windshield wiper your feet a little bit, put a little shimmy shake in the hips, and get yourself set up for Shavasana. So maybe you want to have a bolster under your knees or put your legs up at a L shape with your calves on an ottoman, or laying out flat on the ground. Perhaps you want to grab your scarf or your warmer clothes or a blanket so that you're cozy during Shavasana. Do your thing, get yourself set up. And Shavasana is great for settling the nervous system, for bringing our energy down toward earth, and allowing the muscles to integrate that work that you just did. So as you lie back, take a couple breaths in the spirit of a sigh. If you feel jaw tension, open your mouth wide and maybe even do a lion's breath with your tongue. And begin to scan through your body, softening from head to toe, taking your awareness through through the body in any areas where you're feeling like, ooh, there's some gripping, there's some holding. Pause there and use your imagination to let that area spread out, blossom open, respond to gravity. Making your way all the way through the body, softening in the belly and the low back, softening at the back of your knees and the soles of your feet. And bring the part of you that is your attention to your breath cycle. The breath is shallow here. You're just letting it be what it is. Notice the movement in your rib cage. Notice the way that breath gets into your low back and belly, even when your breath is shallow like this. And go ahead once again, deepen your breath. Oh, stretch it out through your body. And start to bring some movement back in. Like you're waking up. And then hugging your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Breathe into low back and low belly and pelvic floor. Roll yourself over to one side. Leave your neck relaxed. Use your hands to press yourself up to seated. And take your comfortable posture again. That seated posture that the more you practice it, the more it becomes your own. Create the alignment that helps you feel alert and relaxed. And then either with your hands in your lap, or you can bring your hands onto your body, one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, or you could bring your hands together at the center of your chest. Take on a somewhat internal posture of a bow. Maybe just slightly you lean forward and tip your chin. And breathe into this moment. Take the posture of bowing to this moment. I want to invite you to take the posture of self-honor, self-compassion. And thank you to each one of you for being here today, for co-creating the space that holds a container for each of us to practice. I honor you. Namaste.